my God. Oh. Present. Go.
I am Patrick Cannon, Chairman of Community Safety, and am honored to be here for several reasons. Largely in part because I see some wonderful adoptive mothers in the house of my own, but more importantly because we're here today about a very, very special coalition, and that is the Crime Victims Coalition. Why is it personal to me? It's a little hard for me to be here to stand before you as a city council member, but beyond that, well, not so hard to stand here before you as a city council member, but it's hard in that I too am a survivor. And for 36 years, my heart has bled purple. And it continues to bleed purple because someone took the opportunity to take the life of my father through a murder. To date, that person has been brought to justice. And it means something when you have a coalition as such that somebody can lean on and say that, you know what, there is somebody there for me. Makes a difference.
My primary focus in over 30 years of law enforcement has always been the victim. The victim is who we're trying to protect and keep safe in our community. And this is an important organization because it emphasizes the needs that the victim has and the services that we can provide to help the victims.
5 years ago yesterday, I woke up to bruises on my 2-year-old daughter. After spending too much time in a relationship plagued with domestic violence, I decided that I had no more time to plan for leaving. I got my child, and in pajamas we snuck out of the house while her father slept. Wasting no time, I drove to the police station, and in less than 20 minutes of us leaving, he was in custody. At that moment, I thank God for getting my daughter and I out alive. I was so desperate that in the months before I left, I was constantly thinking the only way we would get away was by killing him. That was me being brutally honest.
Letting folks know that there are some partners out there, there are places to turn, and we want to be a clearinghouse. We want to be a place where folks, we want to be the go-to organization. You know, this has happened to me and my family. Where do we turn? Well, we want to go to the Crime Victims Coalition. We'll help you. We'll get you steered in the right direction. We've got the right partners. We know the right folks.
My name's Kara Kelly, and I'm honored to be standing here in front of you all today. First and foremost, I would like to stress the importance of adopting a survivor mentality when you're faced with a situation. All my hard work was to get home to my friends and my family, and there are 3 main things that helped me to survive, and I'm going to share them with you today. My first plan of action when I was in the trunk of a car was I'm not going to get out. So like George said, I removed the taillight and I was able to peer out of a hole this big to trace my steps. And how I did that, I just used certain landscape or landmarks so I could trace all my steps back, which was a great idea. But as George said, by doing this alone, I was able to lead law enforcement back to the actual location of the crime. The second plan of action that I took was to take notes of my attacker. I took down all of his physical descriptions as well as his tattoo on his arm, but in addition, if he had piercings or other forms of identification, you need to do that as well. Another important part was that I left my own evidence behind. I left my rings in the taillight. I took pieces of blankets that was in the car with me so that I would have some evidence to prove that I was there. And my last plan of action was to react and notify the authorities. To get the police involved was probably the main point there. To successfully put a criminal behind bars, you need support and lots of support. I preserved my evidence. I did not shower or bathe till I had seen the SANE nurse, and I regurgitated everything I had seen and heard. As soon as I got home, I wrote down everything I could remember. I even traced the taillight from the reverse side and was able to even identify the type of car just by the taillight. So, lastly, I would like to emphasize that a victim should never feel ashamed or feel at fault for being a rape victim. At no time doubt yourself. Press on in spite of those who may judge you. and advocate for those who share your pain. Educate those on how to combat rape and sexual assault. Like George said, today I'm a senior at Winthrop University. I'm studying sociology with a concentration in criminology. I would like to pursue law enforcement and become a victim's advocate. And I want to leave you all with a few quotes that help me to keep my head held high. It's not having everything go right. It's facing whatever goes wrong. It's not being without fear. It's having the determination to go on in spite of it. And lastly, it's not being able to rid the world of all of its injustices. It's being able to rise above them. Thank you.